Hello, beautiful. Welcome to today's conversation, where we're going to talk about the healing power of self compassion, or as I like to say, giving yourself some grace. I am your host, Shannon Martin, and welcome to today's episode of this thing called wellness. As you begin to heal and unpack your emotions, you begin to realize several things that make you unhappy with your illness. I know that when I began to realize how much time I spent away from myself and my family, I was sad, angry, and disappointed in myself. I felt that I should have been stronger. I should have fought harder or done more medically to understand what was going on within me. I didn't research my illnesses. I took what the doctors told me to heart and believed it. Because after all, they're the experts, right? They have seen this time and again. And I'm no different. I put my trust in a diagnosis without fully understanding that this would be a lifelong journey for me. I didn't realize that these illnesses can subside for years and then all of a sudden just reappear out of nowhere. I can be well for a while and bam, I'm right back at the beginning of the struggle. When I decided to take medication, I felt that I would conquer this within a couple of weeks. Just tell me what I need to do and I move on with my life, right? After all, I'm a great mom, wife, daughter, etc. This I can do easily. How wrong was I? It took many years to get to this place of management. I didn't realize or even accept the idea of how ill I was, and I needed to understand more of what was going on internally. In the beginning, my depression and panic disorder were inseparable. As the doctors like to call them, bedmates. And I needed to find out why this was happening to me, what was triggering it, and what can I do to ease these symptoms. Healing is not an overnight process. It is a daily cleansing of pain. It is a daily healing of your life. Leon Gray. Therapy. I began to slowly unpack issues that I never knew contributed to my illnesses. One big one was I was a people pleaser. And here I was thinking I just enjoyed helping others. I realized that I was trying to live up to everyone's perception of me, whatever that was. I was trying to live up to the expectations that weren't realistic, and it was weighing heavily on me. I never lived for myself, I lived for other people. Those expectations were chipping away at me and wearing me down. One day, when the fog cleared and I began to see myself clearly for just one moment, I realized that it was going to be okay. I am human, and those who instilled those ideals in me only wanted the best for me. They wanted the best life for me and instilled greatness in me. Did it take a huge toll on me? Absolutely. But I'm going to be okay. Now, I had to take all those emotions and tell myself that in the midst of my mental break, I had done well. I have struggled and coped with mental illnesses while raising my family. Is this an ideal situation? Absolutely not. But this is what has been given to me, and all is well within. I have raised three incredible human beings and given them what I am praying are the best parts of me and my husband. And it was time to release the guilt, the anger, and the time I will never get back, and just let it go. Heal from it and know that we can only do our best in our worst moments and keep moving forward. How do I know you're going to be okay? Because this is where you work on forgiving yourself and giving yourself some compassion and more grace. Mental illness was a whole new world for me back then. I knew of it and knew of a couple friends who suffered, but I never really understood it. I just knew of the stigma that came with it, but no one discussed it. Maybe that's why. I never thought that I would personally have to cope with it and learn to manage it myself. A friend of mine said she had panic attacks, but she never talked about it in great detail. As to what actually happened when she had them, she just said, "Oh, I can't drive across bridges anymore," or "I feel claustrophobic at times." But we never really discussed medications or anything like that. Another friend was manic depressive, but she too never discussed it with me. I was one never deprived, so I never fully understood what it was. I just didn't think about it until I had to deal with it myself. I went through denial, I was in disbelief, and I didn't want to deal with it. I was going into my third year of being diagnosed, realizing that my doctor was right and that this would be the toughest battle that I would ever have to deal with. The battle of your mental state is one no one can fight for you. This is the battle that only you and your beliefs can win. I began to research my illnesses for the first time. I began to ask the hard question. I gathered the nerve to talk to my friends who were in a better place to talk about the illnesses with me and asked them what worked for them and what didn't. I began to understand that this is my new life now, and this is going to be with me maybe forever. I have to learn to deal with the setbacks that may happen. I have to deal with the days when I may be knocked off my butt and in bed for a week or more. I had to learn to listen to my body and understand my triggers, which are signs of distress in your body that tell you to slow down and rest for a while. I had to learn to watch what I eat, what I tell myself, be mindful of how much I'm moving and grooving daily. This was my new normal, a normal I never had to worry about before, and had to become okay with what this has taught me and give myself some grace, knowing that today may not be a perfect day, but guess what? Tomorrow is another day to have a go at it, right? Once you get to the place of accepting where you are in your mental wellness journey, you will learn to give yourself more grace. You will understand that there aren't many perfect days. You may not journal, meditate, or log your food today. You may not wake up when you should or even get out of bed. Your family may still not understand what's going on with you. And you know what? They probably never will. And that's okay. We're not going to sit around and try to explain how we're feeling or not feeling today. We're going to keep moving and grooving the best way we can, moving things around to the next day, next week, or even next month, while giving ourselves a spoonful of compassion and a little bit of grace. Mindful moment. In today's conversation, we talked about the healing power of self-compassion. Once you begin to understand and accept the fact that this is a new journey for you to this thing called wellness, you may not get it right. There will be a few setbacks, and that's okay. As long as you keep moving and grooving and understand that this isn't a race, this is your new way of living. Take baby steps, and I mean baby steps, one day at a time. And remember to give yourself some grace. I hope you have enjoyed this week's conversation. I'm your host, Shannon Martin. Join us next, where I reintroduce myself and talk about why I created this podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, please share with someone you think would like to join the conversation. Disclaimer: I am not a licensed mental health professional. The information provided here is for general informational purposes only and should not be considered a substitute for professional mental health advice, diagnosis, or treatment. If you need help, please consult a qualified mental health professional.